Again, one of the biggest songs ever written was Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. If you can look at yourself in that mirror and you can be okay with that person in the mirror, then you're successful. It's a blessing, man, just to be in the game for 20 years and had a nice studio album. And, just really dealing in relationships with the music still, you know what I mean? And telling fresh new stories. It's pretty fun.
Fresh new stories. Well, listen, you've been doing this thing for a moment.
Yes, I
have. What are the fresh and new stories that you're able to get into? Because music has been through a thing.
Yeah, the thing is, man, like with the new album, it opens up with a song called You Don't Love Me No More. So it lets you know that, in this state and time that people should be still looking for love. You know what I mean? And not just lust. That's why I named the album, Can We Fall in Love Again? Because a lot of people are just lusting over each other and making babies. And then, they're in the court system, and they were never, ever really supposed to be together. They just made good lust. So now the kid is involved with something that I don't even respect her. She don't respect me. Oh my God, it's craziness.
Listen, I understand. That's why I'm single right now. Avant, I ain't got time for this mess.
I get it.
I ain't got time for this mess. I will tell you. Before we get too far into the conversation, I actually want to do what I ask everyone that comes on real quick, to tell me who you are besides your name and one thing you love most about who you are.
Wow, who I am. Who am I? Who is this guy you're talking to? I am an R&B lover. I am a storyteller. I am I'm trying to be a great father. So, and what I love about the music is that it cultivates you. It makes you want to do more in life. If it's the right brand of music, it pushes you harder. And I think that's what we need to focus in on.
Yeah. And that's what you love about yourself?
That's what I love about music, and that makes me love myself for doing it.
Got you. But I'm asking you, Avant, what you love about you.
What I love about me is that I'm honest. I try to be honest. I try to be, wow, how can I say it? Spontaneous. I try to be, fun. So those are the things I love about myself.
And are you those things? Because you said you try to be, but are you those things?
No one is all of those things all the time.
Oh, no. Everything in moderation.
Yeah, right. So you have to push yourself at times.
Yeah.
That's why I say I try to be more of that all the time.
Got it. Understood. Listen, we are all works in progress. Have you been getting time during the corona to work on yourself? Have you been doing work?
Indeed. By me working on this album, it made it easier for me to deal with corona.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about situations that people are in homes right now that they're going through it. So, it's okay to be vulnerable in this situation, me as a writer, because I'm talking to a whole spectrum of people on social media, with my music right now. Yeah. I'm talking to them, even if you walking around the house with your mate and you guys don't talk much, but you're talking around each other because you're on their social media. By me putting out this album, it will open up that conversation to find out what are we doing together.
True.
True. So that's one of my main focuses, is strengthen the household, whether strengthen them by pulling them closer together or pulling them apart.
Listen. Sometimes it bees like that. You got to pull them apart.
You have to.
That's a powerful position to be in a family, a mediator, a peacemaker. So you're a big family man?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, I everybody lost a job from doing this Corona thing,
Oh
but
yeah.
me, I didn't. I just don't get paid in my job, and that's being the director of my daughter's TikTok.
That's dope though. That's
Hey,
a
it's so
that's not
crazy.
a
I've had my hand on more Barbies than I ever had in my life.
that's amazing. That's a quote right there. Who
Yeah,
said that?
I,
Who
I,
said
I
that?
tell I tell everybody like it's okay to touch a couple Barbies because my daughter,
You're a
she's
girl
7 years,
dad.
right, she's 7 years old, and she wants her TikTok to be perfect, and we have to go through all of these different ideas. She's great. I'm telling you, she's amazing to me. I'm learning things from her every day.
That's so cute. Oh, I love that. And is this your first kid?
No, I have a 17-year-old son who's always helping me with the IGs and the
I
Zooms
was
that I
like,
have to be
everybody's
on.
keeping you young and
That's
relevant.
what I'm trying to tell you. It's all a work in progress. You have to. I tell everybody, understand this. If you shut your mind off from learning, then you're nothing. I learned from my daughter who's 7. I learned from my
Right.
son who's 17. So I'm good. I got good spectrum of learning going on right now. And Corona's helping me, because just to walk in sometimes with the purse and say, yo, here's the money. Y'all do whatever with it. That's not really parenting. Not.
Right.
Sometimes you have to sit down and you have to be involved. And what Corona has done for me is made me heavily involved in what the things that they want to do. And it's not much. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not much. My daughter, she actually raised $100. And I said, you got more money than me. Now she thinks she has more money than me.
Well, that's cute. Does she?
She got $100 in her hand right now.
So she kind of
So
does.
exactly. She do it right now.
Good for her.
Exactly.
That's sweet though. And I love that you're open and receptive to learning. Is that something that you carry on, especially within your music career as well? Because it's one thing
Indeed.
to definitely learn from your own babies, but to learn from your own
Well,
mistakes.
yeah, that you gotta learn from your own mistakes. And also I tell even my producers, like, I try not to learn everything at one time. They're like, wow, that's funny that you say that. I say, because guess what? My father always told me, if you are the brightest crayon in your crayon box, you need to find another crayon box, brother.
Mm.
So I took that like, wow, bro, it makes so much sense. Because if I'm the only one, if I'm the smartest one in the room, who can I pull from? I can't pull from anyone. Everybody's pulling
Right.
from you. And you'll never learn. You'll never get past the issues if you're the only one there that's smart enough to deal with them.
Mm.
So you surround yourself around people that has way more mentally, even physically than you, and you can learn.
Yeah. Always. Yeah. I definitely believe in that. I believe in always reaching for your greatest self.
That's right.
Because and I'm learning that too, because we don't have time, and this is something I live by. We don't have time to do anything that doesn't contribute to our greater self.
That's
Um,
so true.
yeah, so it's not an easy choice to make in any
No,
sense of the word.
but
Um,
let's just be honest. I tell everybody this too, and this is a good quote. You have to learn how to be to how can I say this? You have to learn how to be uncomfortable. You have to learn how to be uncomfortable. And
yeah,
you have to enjoy that. You have to enjoy that because that's what brings out your greatest self. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. You
right.
have to do that.
That's one of the biggest lessons I think that folks don't tend to want to hold on to, because it is so much easier to just say like
So,
I'd rather just be comfortable. Um,
no, what it really is that so much fronting going on. that's not being uncomfortable. That's just lying to yourself. You know what I mean? There's so
Yeah.
much of that going on. And then you talk about relationships. It's so hard to find out who is the representative and who is a real person.
We meet a lot of those representatives, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
We
So the
really
nature of
do.
it all is you can't just put your heart out there because it's so many representatives is willing to jump on it. You never find out who the real person is.
Well, as a man who has been in relationships, are you at a point now where you no longer have that representative show up?
Yeah, no. Representatives gone.
They've been gone.
They've been gone.
Because I
They've
was going
been
to ask you, how long did it take you to get to that?
Yeah, you know what? Once you start having kids, you know,
No room.
yeah, it's like, okay, now we would not necessarily force ourselves together, but we're together. And to make great on what we have created, we have to be truthful with one another.
Right. And that's not easy. I mean, did you see the Red Table Talk?
Hey, I mean, at the end of the day, they didn't have to have that talk for us.
Oh, no.
They had to have that talk for themselves. But they live in a society where they feel like they have to clear the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I thought that, I think that's too much, but that's just me. I don't have to show anyone how much I care about you.
Real. That's real.
But, at the end of the day, because what do I think? What do I matter about that situation? Not nothing at all.
That's real. It's unfortunate because they represent the Black excellence, the Black couple, the Black love.
That's another lie.
The representative.
There you go. Yeah, that's another lie. So you understand. I enjoyed it because, and I haven't even seen the table talk, but I enjoyed the situation because I know that there's no one out here that's perfect. There's no situation out here that's perfect.
And like, we know that. As human beings, we know that to be true. We understand that completely. So what I think, well, now, and because of the time that we're in and everything that's happening, we're facing these big reckonings and people are like asking people to show up for real, for real. It's not like, you can't fake the funk that much anymore. I guess you can call it that. So I'm wondering, like, why it only matters because we cared so much about the representative of their relationship.
Well, at the end of the day,
it's Will and Jada.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're human beings.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we know that and we understand that those situations are perfect.
Some of us don't know that. See, that's what I'm saying. We can't take this for granted. When people put out posts of, oh, we're over here in Jamaica and everybody's just family oriented, come on. That's not real life. And now, like I said, by that happening, we understand that there was some things going on that we didn't know nothing about, and we should know about. We shouldn't even know about the situation. But hey,
here we are.
Everything under the sun comes out. So,
but here we are in the middle of it. Back to you though. Thank you for sharing your perspective on that. I want to know, because we've known you in music and in the industry as an artist for a while, but you are, I don't want to misspeak and say supremely private, but it's not like you have an out here life that we're reading about your relationships and we're reading about your things like that. Right. So I want to know if you would be able to tell us a little bit about Avant before you became this star. Like, what kind of kid were you? What was your childhood like?
Okay, Avant before becoming a star was a bum, broke. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? Look, it was just like every other most Black artists, trying to fish to find out who you are as a person, trying to understand life, and what it represents. It was a lot of that. But see, the thing is, when you come up under those circumstances, you want to run away from them. You want to get far as you can away from it because that's not who you want to be. That's who you're forced to be. You understand? So what you do is you work extremely hard to try to better yourself, better the people around you, so that you don't have to be engulfed with that situation anymore. And to the point of you don't even want to be around the neighborhood because it scares you just to see the people that you grew up with because they're not trying to grow. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's who Avant was and still is, fighting hard to stay away from the ghetto per se mentality. You know what I mean? I don't mind working with my Black people, but you have to show me that you want to work and you want to put forth the effort because, like I said, right now, we're all in quarantine situation. We've all lost our jobs. So guess what? That job that you thought you were going to hold on to for 40 years is now out of business.
Right.
So it stops you from having the comfort blanket per se, but it also, they don't know that they didn't stop that creativeness that we are as Black people.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That's what happened. What they did was they covered us up with this blanket for so long that it stopped our creativity. Because how could you be creative when you're spending 8 hours on the job, then another 6 hours with the kids?
Yeah.
Then, so you can't be creative.
True.
You feel me? So right now we're in a position that we can start that creativity. That's why the protests and all that stuff is really working, because now we don't have a job in our way. We can really speak out on issues. We can see the wrong, because when you're when the blanket is over you, you kind of like, wait, out of sight of the mind.
Right.
I'm all right. I'm not worried about what's going on. But now that the blanket has been pulled out from under you, now, you can be creative again. I've seen so much creative stuff on IG that Black folks have created.
Listen, we are really out here, like you said, creating. It's been really awesome to watch.
That's what we've always been. But when you kind of like, wait, dangle $30 an hour in my face, I give up on my dream because I got to take care of my family. Right now, we got to stop giving up on the dream. That dream has to be the first thing first now. Whatever dream it was, go back to it.
Yeah.
It was very important. That's what God's telling me right now with quarantine.
So can you tell me about the time in your life where you felt like, because you said you were a bum and this and that, but you felt like you knew you were talented and you needed to do something with it?
Well, I was in school when I felt that way. But I was so afraid of using God's talent because I couldn't be the cool dude that sung. So
that
I
was
would be
cool?
singing. No, that was romantic. But back in the in the 90s, you had to be rap cool. Like, you know what I mean? You couldn't be the romantic dude because you was softy. So what I would do is, because I liked the acoustics in the bathrooms in school, I would sing when there was nobody in the bathroom, and then somebody would come in like, yo, who's in there singing? I'm like, I don't know, maybe in the stall. And I'll leave out. See what I'm saying? Until I stopped being shy of God's gift is when I took off.
Wow. So you went from hiding to singing in the stalls.
Yep.
And then how did you get to a point where you were doing it for real, for real? Were you like just performing around town and things like that?
Well, I did a couple talent shows around town. They told me I wasn't good enough. So I'm like, okay, I've heard no before. That's not scary. But my uncle was a local performer, and he was my idol. When he told me that I sound good, couldn't nobody else tell me I didn't sound good.
You were like, nah, I got it.
I'm like, whatever, next. You know what I mean? I'm like, and he would always say, you have what it takes to take what they got.
Ooh,
that's a good one. You know what I mean? And then he said, everyone is not going to love you. So he gave me the rundown of everything I was going to encounter. So it was cool for me. I knew exactly. I said, okay, my uncle told me that. Nah, I'm not afraid of that. So what I did was I hitched, I took a ride to Chicago, and I met up with a manager. Stayed at his house for probably a year or two, and I created this album. And not knowing this guy really from nowhere, but he really helped my career. He was my first manager, and I was ready to give up. I'm like, man, I'm done with this. He said no. He said, I said I gotta go back to work. He said, I'm trying to help you make millions. That job is not going, it's gonna always be there.
Right.
They're gonna give you pennies. I'm trying to help you make millions. So that right there told me, I've always had some great people to teach me along the way.
Right.
And, that's how I became who I am.
Well, good for you. I'm glad that you stopped being a little punk about your gift.
Yeah.
And really stepped into your path and into your light. That's dope. That's like, it's always a really amazing thing to hear people say, like, I just stepped into it. Not that it was that easy or anything like that, but just the idea of making the leap. That's the biggest part.
Yeah, that's it. At the end of the day, you got to understand though. See, the thing is, a lot of people do not have the talk. They do not get the talk. The talk is, you're gonna have pitfalls.
Yes.
You're gonna fall on your face several times. But it's all about getting up. If you can get up and go at it again,
that's the real
sauce.
That's
the only thing that matters. That's all that matters.
Yep. That's the real sauce. I love that. Well, at this point in your life and in your career and knowing these things, what do you deem success? And do you feel successful for yourself?
I feel proud of myself. That's success for me. Understand, everything is predicated on finances for people. Not for me. I mean, I'm glad I can make a couple bucks. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But you have to be proud. Again, one of the biggest songs ever written was Michael Jackson's "Man in the Mirror." If you can look at yourself in that mirror and you can be okay with that person in the mirror, then you're successful.
That word. I know people got to feel that in the quarantine because this is that chance.
Well, it's going to be hard for people to look and understand that quote because a lot of people look in that mirror and they don't like what they see.
Oh, it's very easy to do that.
So you're not going to really
it all down.
Right. You're not going to feel that quote unless you can look in there and be proud of yourself. That's the only time you're going to really feel it. If not, you're going to be like, oh, man, that's just bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because you turn a blind eye to
it. Exactly. You pretend you don't see it. But that's what I was saying. Like at this time, it's kind of hard not to zone in and see because this is where you're at home.
Exactly. But you got to accept it, though.
Ooh. It's not for the weak, but I really do hope that people have been able to take that time, because once you get past that and you get to the point of understanding, what integrity with yourself means and trusting yourself.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Integrity is everything.
That's a different, that unlocks a different level of self-love.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what we're built off of. Not ego. See, that's the thing, man. Most people are trying to build themselves off ego. And that you can never, ever live that way. Integrity, I know I make mistakes. I'm cool with that. But I try to be a better person every day.
Exactly. Because that's what we got. That's what we have. Yeah. That's real. That's so real.
But you have to push the ego to the side. It's okay to have one. You have to have one. But you can't let him be the representative, basically. You can't let him be the representative. Because boy, oh boy, it's so hard to live. It's so hard to live in that ego. That ego is so big. I gotta have a new Benz. I gotta have a new this. It's like, yo, bro, then you check your account. You don't have shit. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's so real. Have you been able to stay in that purpose for yourself and stay within your the space of self integrity and love that you've been
Well,
able to find?
you got to also understand that, I'm being as honest as I can possibly be. I am in an industry full of that. You know what I mean? So you have to use your ego sometimes. You need him.
Yeah, that's what my curiosity was, because it's hard not to.
Well, yeah,
as an
you
artist.
have to use him because you will be taken advantage of if you don't use him. But you also got to control him. You know what I mean? You can't use the ego when you're bringing it back home. If you're going to use him in the industry, use him in the industry. But when you come back home to the home front, you better bow down, bro. Or you're going to be at home front by your damn self. With a lot of ego-driven people around you.
Right.
And it's not going to work.
That's hard. I mean, have you been able to keep really like grounded people around you within the industry?
You have to because my family is grounded. You know what I mean? And they always been grounded. And I like to be around them when they're not asking for everything. You know what I'm saying? But they keep me grounded. So that's the beauty of it all. Like, I had my sister call me, you know what I mean? And she like, yo, I don't want nothing, bro. I just want you to know you don't love me no more. It's my shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I respect that. You know what I mean?
That's good.
It's love, man.
Yeah, keep that love around you. And before I get you out of here, a little bit into some music. We talked about the new project and everything, but I would love to know a little bit about you musically. If we were to create an Avant mixtape and we were putting songs on there, what songs would have to be on there? No, without a shadow of a doubt.
You have to use Read Your Mind. You have to use Don't Take Your Love Away. You have to use Make It Good Love. You have to use 4 Minutes. You have to use You and I by me and Keke. You have to use My First Love. Oh my God, this album is gonna be crazy.
It's an Avant capsule.
Right, you have to use Don't Say No, you just say yes. Oh man, it's just so many. I can't call them all, baby. I'm confused. Look, my ego getting in the way.
I was about to say, your ego is showing. You letting him out.
Right, I gotta stop. I had to go set his ass down in the corner.
He's out the cage. Well, congratulations to a long, illustrious, beautiful, unproblematic career.
Well, it's not unproblematic, yeah.
I mean, but I'm so glad that you're still out here doing your thing. Let people know where they are able to listen.
Yo, you can hit me up at Avant Music everywhere on all platforms.
We looking at an R&B king. Is that what's happening here?
Hey, exactly. That's what you're looking at. Baby.
You better wear the crown.
I'm gonna try, but I gotta set it to the side sometimes too, though.
I feel that. Thank you so much, Avant. It's been such a pleasure to see you and to hear about what you have going on and to get to know you better. I'm just so thrilled to know that you're a good person inside.
Thank you so much. And Can We Fall in Love is out right now, please, everybody.
Real quick with that, real with that, yeah.